month, right? Or
That's
what
right.
else would I do? Right?
And Dave, this is the best line. He says, miserable Dave will probably hate the scenario considering it's hypothetical.
Touche. Well played, Martin. Well played.
He's a wise ass.
That's good.
Then he says, well,
that's good stuff.
I guess I should have a question for you in the end of this fantasy, if only for the pleasure of hearing glass half empty Dave suffer through his mailbag chant. And the question is, what are your top 5 worst Sammy lyrics? And he says, excluding Amsterdam, which we all know you hate, and is such a great underrated song.
That's no fair. That's like a go-to song for that question.
I know. So
all right.
Yeah. So what do you? What you want me to start, or you want to start? It's up to you.
I'll start.
Okay.
Up for breakfast.
Okay.
That's one.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Let me think. The part in Good Enough where he's like, "Hey, waitress."
Yeah.
That's a winner lyric.
Yep.
Man, I'm on the spot here. If you want to name a few, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say Source of Infection for sure.
Oh, that's a good one.
Please.
Yeah.
I agree with you with Good Enough because that whole hey waitress thing just kills me because trying to imitate Dave. Spanked. Oh my God, Spanked. Oh my God, Spanked. And then also Big Fat Money. I love the music. I do not like the lyrics. I think they're so thrown together. Oh my God. Also, I agree with you. Up for Breakfast is just miserable. Oh my God. Yeah.
You know what? Oh, what's the other one from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge? Pleasure Dome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Pleasure Dome.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, great musically. Fantastic. Forget it.
But lyrically.
No, lyrically weak. Lyrically weak.
Come on.
That's the truth. So now, number 4 letter, David Roberts. He says, this is something that's been bouncing around in my head for a while now. Do you think one of the reasons David Lee Roth's solo career essentially popped and fizzles is because he never had a stable band playing with him? After the Eat 'em and Smile group split, he had a revolving door that wasn't heavy on musicianship to juxtapose his onstage, offstage antics. What do you think? Well, David, I think it's because he didn't curate or cultivate the Eat 'em and Smile lineup. We'll get into that later in the Skyscraper discussion, but I thought he should have really created a tight unit band. I would have treated that band like a band, not a solo artist, and I think he went a little too much solo artist with Skyscraper, but if he turned out like 3 solid rock albums with them, he might have made it past the grunge bump like Van Halen did, but I don't know. What do you think, Dave? What do you make of it?
I don't know if it was necessarily because he didn't have a stable band.
Okay.
But I know he was becoming frustrated with people he was trying to keep in the band, and he just wasn't having good luck with musicians.
Right.
Like I remember in his autobiography, he was saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, like he had a drummer that couldn't keep time.
Right, yeah.
And there was a guitarist who went on tour with, and then when they went on tour, the guitarist asked for more money, and Dave was like, see ya, and kicked him off the tour.
Yeah.
You know, so I think stuff like that was growing weary from him, and he was like, I think he lost some of the fire because of that.
That's true. Well, we have number 5 is coming from Paul Rice from Corona, California. He says, after this episode, I have 2 reactions I'm compelled to share. This is talking about the November episode. Martin Popoff seems like one hell of a nice guy. I ordered his book via his site, and within minutes I received an email response. We exchanged a few brief remarks, and I thought this was awesome, just like he said he felt when Sabbath managed to return his call. As for the interview, his opinions are wide-ranging and very interesting, and I enjoyed it very much. Number 2, I feel vindicated. You likely don't remember, but I wrote you sometime last year defending Dave's singing and basically bashing the entire Sammy era. I forget my words exactly, but they were something like Sam's vanilla lyrics and goofy stage presence and vast majority of music entirely unmemorable is what was his downfall. And Martin all but said those same things. The brothers' musicianship will always be jaw-dropping, but the Sammy era just lays like a wet blanket. This is why Sam era gets no airplay or respect in general. As always, is another great podcast, and those are the words of becoming redundant. Thank you so much for keeping hope alive. Van Halen in 2019. Paul Rice. Well, Paul, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the Martin episode. Martin's a great guy. I email him from time to time myself, and he's fun to talk to, and he's a great writer, and I hope you're enjoying that Van Halen book this holiday season. Listen, I understand your gripe about Sam, but I don't think he's as bad as you make him out to be. I really don't. I mean, that's just an opinion. I think he's definitely a matter of taste. But if the band was to be called something else, would you feel the same way? His voice is definitely a strong rock voice, but it didn't have a Van Halen feel. It's definitely Van Hagar. What do you think, Dave?
We could argue about the pros and cons of the Sammy era till the cows come home, but when it comes to Van Halen fans, that's a very passionate subject.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you like them or you don't like them. Like we always say on the show, we respect all opinions and all versions of the band.
Right.
Our favorite will always be the Dave era, but definitely some good stuff in the Sam era, and maybe about 5 seconds worth in the Gary era. So.
Right, absolutely. And on to letter number 6 from Air Force J in Half Moon Bay. Dave, he is back, and he says, hello again. So starting off, I'm a little behind in listening to the podcast, and if you cover these two subjects already, I apologize for bringing them up. In a friendly way, I want to call Dave out on something. As a guy who states he doesn't like to go into what-ifs, you drafted an amazing one in the midst of a Kiss discussion during the October mailbag segment. Dave went off into an ultimate Van Halen concert that featured David Lee Roth, Sammy, and whatever band that begins with the letter C that you're working with this week. Extreme, etc. At the end, they all come out together and sing Kumbaya. He means ain't talking about love. Gotta say, that sequence was amazing, especially how you capped it off. It will never happen. Yeah, but we can dream. Seems like this scenario is pretty close to a what if. Regardless, it was nice. Goes on and on here about Alex Van Halen appearing in the Hank Williams video, My Name is Bocephus, and he says here, are there any other videos where members of Van Halen make guest appearances? Jay, I want to tell you yes. I want you to go to episode number 24, where Dave and I did a whole Van Halen video vault. Dave and Ed appear in Frank Sinatra's L.A. is My Lady video, so that's definitely one Van Halen appearance in another artist's video. They're right at the top of the video. I think it was around 1984. And in the Sam 1987 era, when Sammy did a video for Hands and Knees, Van Halen, Alex, Michael, and Eddie appear in the end of that video as well. So those are two to look out for. Dave, you have any comment?
No, I got nothing to add, but thank you for the compliment.
Yeah?
It was very kind of you.
Look at that. You got a compliment.
I know. It was refreshing after the previous letter we got.
That's right.
That dream sequence, I can't take all the credit for that because lots of people, whether it's VH Links or VH Trading or whatever website, I mean, people have been cultivating that dream Van Halen concert for years where, you know, every member is involved and every spin-off band is involved. Mm-hmm. So would love to see it, but it's never say never,
right.
But very unlikely to happen.
Right, that's true. And we are on to letter number 7, and that comes from Ryan Clark. And he says, hey, Dave and Dave, it's your favorite college student podcast fan again. Thank you for taking the time to read my previous letter. And he says, I had a fun, quick little idea I was hoping that has not been previously done in another episode. I'm curious to know what both of your favorite tracks from each album are. I understand it's tough to pick just one per album, but I think it would be fun to compare. He goes into his, and then he wants to know what if we had one track to pick from the first 6 albums, one from each album, what would you pick?
Interesting. A similar topic like this came up on VH Links, so yeah. I wonder you should go to vhlinks.com and look at that because I think they are discussing that very topic. Let's see. For me, best song on each album. First album.
Why don't we do one each? We'll do the albums together. We'll say what each one we like from each album. There you go.
I'm stuck because I have a tie for the first.
All right. You know what? I tell you what. I'll allow you.
I'll go with On Fire for the first album.
Okay. I'm going to go with I'm the One.
Oh, good one. Okay.
Album number 2.
DOA.
I'm going to go with Out of Love Again.
Okay.
Album number 3, Women and Children First.
I'm going to go with... What am I going to go with? What's the last song on the album?
In a Simple Rhyme?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with, you know it, Romeo Delight. The ultimate Van Halen tribute band.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you gotta change it up?
No, but that's a very close second.
Yeah, okay.
That's a very close second.
Yeah, and okay. We are at fair warning now.
Unchained?
Of course, I go with Unchained. Gotta go with Unchained. I do say that this was the hardest for me. I have such a personal attachment to Unchained, but I love, so this is Love and Sinner's Swing as well.
I would have picked Mean Street as a close second.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's true. That album is incredible, so.
Yes.
And Diver Down, Dave.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say. Secrets.
That's right. Your favorite Secrets, and I am going to go with Little Guitars.
Also an excellent suggestion.
1984.
Yes. Drop Dead Legs.
Oh, I am going to agree with that one. We agreed on that. That Drop Dead Legs, probably one of my all-time Van Halen favorite songs. So thank you, Ryan. And we want to say, thank God some millennials are listening to Van Halen. I'm just going to put that out there.
Right.
Okay, great. So now we are on to Sean Franklin, and Sean says, I agree with you guys. They should have laced the set with a different kind of Truth live tracks. The album is a masterpiece, and in my opinion, it is Eddie's finest moment. His playing is off the radar on that record. The album rules. I like it better than Diver Down or 1984. Sean also says, I totally love the show, and David Lee Roth era Van Halen is the best era. A different kind of Truth is one of my all-time favorite Van Halen albums, and I have been around since 1978. Just want to say, Skyscraper, hands down, is my favorite David Lee Roth record. You guys need to do a special on it. Well, guess what, Sean? Merry Christmas! Right. Merry Christmas, Sean! We're going to dedicate this episode to you, buddy. We do say, wow, that's high praise for a different kind of Truth. The album is high quality and it's not celebrated enough, for sure. And I just listened to it the other day again, and I still shake my head. I can't believe that we got that good an album at that stage of the game from the band. This is why I wish they would do more. But as we move on to letter number 9 from Gary, don't call me Sharon Ashley from Evansville, Indiana. And Gary says, I wanted to thank you two Daves for having Noel and Jacques on to talk about the Van Halen auction. I ended up with a very nice lot of 7 tour programs, a 1981 tour shirt, and a bootleg vinyl from 1978. Several weeks after the auction, I received a call from Jacques informing me that several of the items I had bid on and lost, the winner never paid for them. He then asked if I was interested, and of course I was. Needless to say, I ended up with a mint-condition concert tickets from 1979. And the only question is, which one of you two bid on these items and didn't pay? Was it Dave, the CPA?
Yes, Dave, the cheap CPA.
Yeah, isn't that awful? It's awful.
I reneged. I know.
You reneged. Well,
I know times are tough.
I'm gonna speak for Dave here. Is that Dave and I are both married with 3 children, and unfortunately, like the rest of you, we do not have the disposable income to be buying all these things. And we all, Dave and I, we can't, as much as we love all this stuff, we could never afford to bid on all that stuff. Some of that stuff is crazy expensive.
How impressive is it that, what's the guy's name, Jacques?
Yeah.
How impressive is it that he called?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well,
didn't email him.
Yeah.
Who does that these days?
He's, let me tell you something, though. He's in this business a long time now. I mean, and he's not stupid. He's going to keep track. I mean, it's in his own financial best interest to kind of go to the next bidder or whatever.
Oh, no,
right?
I get that. The fact he actually called.
That's good. That's great, man. I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool.
And
you know what? As we knew from the interview, he was a very cool guy. And took it very seriously. He took it very seriously. So our next letter comes from Norm Campbell, and Norm is from San Diego, California. And he just wanted to say that he's 51 and he's seen Van Halen on the 84 tour and the 5150 tour, and then finally in 2012 with Dave and Wolfie. And he's been a fan of the first album since he was 11 years old. And he wants to thank us both for keeping the flame alive and the news going. And he also wanted to thank him for giving him the 411 on Transmission Impossible. And he purchased it upon hearing our podcast. He loved it. He gave it a good review. And he talks and said on disc 1 is from 1978 Osaka, Japan. He said the audio is better than those from other ones from the same tour and that are available on the Van Halen news desk, he says there. And he also said that he enjoyed that whole thing, and he said the disc number 2 is from Dallas, Texas in 1982, which he's seen on YouTube and stuff like that. But he also said that it has a unbelievable face-melting guitar guitar solo by Eddie, which really stood his hair up. And disc number 3 is that David Lee Roth solo show from 1994 in L.A. at the House of Blues. And he says Dave is funny, and he benefits from having a band that doesn't speed through songs like Alex used to. So he said he really